Truck stop terror story. I remember just over a month ago, the most scariest night of my life took place. I'm Bill, by the way. I was a truck driver and I had been for almost 3 years then, but not anymore since that terrifying night. I remember like it was just yesterday. See, I had worked 2 weeks in a row without taking a day off, and each day I worked 14-hour shifts. By the end of each shift, I would either pull into some strange rundown motel or I'll pull over at some truck stop to get some rest. Well, on that particular night, a combination of me being tired and rain caused me to pull into a truck stop, 641. There were several other trucks parked all around the truck stop area when I had pulled in. I took a look around the truck stop once before I parked, just to be sure and fully aware of my surroundings. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, which caused me to relax just a bit. I was already consumed with tiredness, so I didn't care to do anything, which caused me to just put my seat back and close my eyes right away. With the rain falling down and showering my 18-wheeler with rain, I was able to sleep comfortably until I heard the sound of knocking on my door. I woke up immediately with my hand grabbing a hold of my shotgun while my focus aimed out of my door. I spotted a young lady in a low-cut skirt with red lipstick that stuck out to me completely. She smiled, and so did I. Prostitutes usually flock to truck stop areas for a quick buck from a horny driver who's probably gone weeks without having sex. If my memory served me correctly, I had gone quite some time without getting anything, so I was definitely craving for some attention. I wound down my window and asked how much. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, I got to the very point of why she's here by my truck in the first place. "How much you got?" she responded. I reached into my pocket and I pulled out some cash. "I'd say $75, I said. She took a look over to her right, which caught my attention before she looked back at me. "Okay, that's fine," she says. I placed down my shotgun and immediately unlocked my door with my money in hand. The very second my door opened, I was met by a big, tall, hairy guy holding a gun. He wasted no time shoving me down in my truck while keeping his gun focused on me. "Get the money, darling. Take all of his valuables," he instructed, and she rushed into my truck and quickly searched around for anything of value that I may have. She grabbed my backpack and she quickly began loading it up with all of my electronics, from my phone to my portable television and even my portable radio, amongst other things. Meanwhile, I was pinned down between the driver and passenger seat with my back resting on my shotgun, shielding it away from these thieves. In the back of my mind, I knew if they see this gun, it's all over for me. So I just remained calm as the evil lady filled up my backpack with any and everything she thought was valuable, and what was the longest 5 minutes of my life finally came to an end once she filled up my backpack and they both rushed off into the darkness shortly thereafter. Police showed up to the scene moments later in response to 2 fatal shootings that took place at the same truck stop. See, what I found out is that while I slept before I was robbed, the same couple ran down on 2 drivers who entered into the restroom and shot them dead in a robbery gone wrong. I would have been their 3rd victim if I had put up a fight against them, and I think about that all the time ever since that happened. What I also think about is the fact that those 2 murderous thieves were never caught. That news always sat with me, which is the reason why I've never driven a truck again ever since. Skinning spring breakers alive. March 3rd, 2020, a group of friends and I traveled to Dallas, Texas to enjoy Spring Fest, where dozens of our favorite artists were set to perform. I was excited, and so were my friends. Normally, I'm big on signs, meaning if it starts to rain on a day I made plans to go to the beach, I just don't go. Well, immediately the signs began, from us missing our flight to us getting on another flight to our hotel room being given away to other people because we missed our flight. I was getting a weird feeling from earlier that I probably should have just canceled my plans to go to Spring Fest when we ended up missing our first flight, but I didn't. Instead, I listened to my stupid friends and I tagged along with them, and now we're in Dallas on the night of the most epic Spring Fest without a place to stay. We searched high and low, going from hotel to hotel, hoping to at least book one room for us all to stay at for the weekend, but no luck. We continued searching, catching taxi after taxi all over town until we pulled up to Spring Breakers Motel. It was a cheesy themed motel that was sort of run down, but we didn't care as long as we could book a room or two for us to lay our heads over the next 3 nights. I remember entering into the rundown motel's office with my friends, and needless to say, but it was a bit creepy. It's already late at night, and the motel's office is almost as dark as outside, but whatever. No one stood at the front desk, which was odd, but I rang the desk bell, and out of nowhere, some old buck-toothed man appeared before the desk, smiling. "Hello, ladies and gentlemen," he said in a creepy way. "How many rooms can I get you all?" His voice was weird, and he looked even more bizarre than he talked. "I think we should go someplace else," I suggested, but my friends weren't at all interested in finding another place to stay. "Bro, it's late, and we need to get to Springfest ASAP," says Roger, my good friend. Everyone agreed, including the weird motel manager. Trying to find a motel or hotel on Springfest weekend won't be easy, but you all are in luck, he says. Several rooms have just become available. I wasn't thrilled, but what choice do I have? So I agreed to just crash here for the night, and that's exactly what we did. We got 3 rooms, and I headed off to my room near the end of the motel as my friends went up to theirs. We all agreed to meet back up outside in about 20 minutes. I entered into my hotel room with Tracy behind me. She entered after I did so that I could inspect the place a bit, and once I did, she walked right in. In no time, the motel room lights shut off, and the doors sealed shut immediately as Tracy and I ran to the door to open it. No luck whatsoever in us doing so. We banged on the door as we both yelled for help until we began hearing the sound of people screaming. I froze in a state of panic as the television, sitting just a few feet away from the door, turned on. On the screen was a video of our friends being tied down to their motel room beds by men in masks. I couldn't believe my eyes, and neither could Tracy, who watched in horror as the men pulled out large knives from their pockets. I'm shocked, and I'm in a total state of disbelief as I could hear the sound of my friends screaming, but not from the television. They're screaming through the very walls of this motel. Seconds later, the men began skinning my friends from the neck down as they belched out screams, making us panic even more. I'm frozen. I'm stunned by what I'm witnessing at this point. The men butchered my friends until their screams became silent. Tracy cried out in horror as the men from the television sets looked to their left where the sound was coming from. I took a look at my room key, and instead of us going to the room 6, we ended up in room 7, meaning we went to the wrong room, which is the reason why we're still alive. I watched on the television as the men rushed out of the motel rooms they were in, and I knew that they were coming for us. I rushed to the back of the motel room to look for an exit, but there were solid bricks covering the back exit door. By the time I rushed back to the front door, those same men stood in the doorway holding butcher knives. Tracy yelled, and so did I, until our screams vanished as the men butchered us both.